Hello, and welcome to the third tutorial in my vlog. In this tutorial, I'll be creating a custom Amazon machine image and deploying it to AWS. At this time, CentOS 8 installations will not convert to an AMI successfully. So for this tutorial, I'll be creating a virtual machine with a fresh installation of CentOS 7 with VirtualBox. I'll create a new key pair and install the public key on this machine for SSH authentication. I'll be able to verify the EC2 instance is created with the custom AMI by the presence of this public key. After I've finished configuring authentication, I'll create the necessary roles and policies for my AWS user. This is to ensure that I have the required permissions to convert the virtual machine to an AMI. Then I'll create an EC2 instance with this AMI and authenticate with the public key. If authentication is successful, the AMI contains the customization we installed to the virtual machine. So let's get started. I already have VirtualBox open, so I'll just create a new virtual machine. Give it a name. Set the amount of memory you want here. It doesn't matter what you set this to because the amount of memory for your EC2 instance is determined by your instance type. You can use an existing virtual hard disk if you have one, as long as it's formatted as VMDK, virtual machine disk, but I'll be creating a new one for this tutorial. Like I said, make sure you select VMDK for virtual machine disk here. It doesn't matter if you select dynamically allocated or fixed disk size. I'll go ahead and go with dynamically allocated for this tutorial so the disk creation is a little quicker. Set the disk size to the size you want your EC2 instance to have and click Create. All right, now I'm going to attach a CentOS image to the virtual disk drive. And I'm also going to add an additional processor so the installation is a little smoother and forward the SSH port from the guest machine to my workstation. And now let's start the virtual machine. Resize this for you guys. During the installation, you don't really have to change much. I'm going to select the installation destination and ensure that the network interface is automatically enabled on boot. Set the installation destination. And make sure the network adapter is on during boot. Begin installation. Should only take a moment to complete the installation. Okay, so the installation is complete. Let's go ahead and create the key pair for the virtual machine that we'll be using for SSH authentication. And now we need to install the public key to the virtual machine. So I'll copy this to my clipboard. And we're going to SSH into the virtual machine. and shut the virtual machine down. And we'll just wait a little bit to make sure the virtual machine is powered off. It's already powered off. Now we need to export the virtual machine. Oops. So go up here to File, Export Appliance, select the virtual machine. The format needs to be Open Virtualization Format 2. Continue, Export. So just take a moment. Okay, now we need to upload that to an S3 bucket in AWS. So I'll go ahead and create a new bucket for this. And start copying the OVA formatted virtual machine up to that bucket. Okay, only 570 megabytes, so this will take just a little bit of time. Okay, so the upload is complete. Now I'm going to configure permissions for my AWS user to ensure that we can import the AMI. So I'll go ahead and create the role policy file and create the role. Now I'll apply a policy to this role. And down here, make sure to change the S3 bucket name to whatever your S3 bucket is. Okay, and now we'll define the AMI import JSON configuration. You can see here I've just given it a description, the S3 bucket where the OVA image resides, and the name of the file that's in the bucket. And then we'll run the command to begin the import. Okay, now from here it's going to take a little bit of time. Last time I ran an import, it took nearly an hour. What I like to do is I like to set up a watch and check the import AMI ID here. And we'll just watch it every 10 seconds until it's complete. And it'll go through various status messages as it progresses. We'll be right back. Okay, the AMI is finished importing at this point, so now I can create the EC2 instance with it. In order to create the EC2 instance, you'll need to find the security group and subnet ID that you want your EC2 instance to reside within. You can find this either from the CLI or by logging into the AWS console. For this tutorial, I went ahead and grabbed those values ahead of time. Make sure you replace the image ID in this command with your own image ID. specifying this is a T2 micro instance type. Here's the security group and subnet IDs. And in the tag specifications here, you can specify the instance name. I'll go ahead and just name that now. And we'll go ahead and run this command. Okay, so now if we go to the AWS console, we should see that we've created this instance now. And here it is. We can even watch the status as this machine gets created through the CLI. Let's see how to do that. So I'll grab the instance ID. And we'll use the describe instance status commands to watch this. You can get different information if you do describe instances. This will give you a lot more detail. And let's see if we can connect with our public key now. All right, authentication was successful. That concludes this tutorial. Thank you for watching.